In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to square any two-digit number in your head using the power of your mind. All right, let's get to it. So first of all, we need to talk about what it means to actually square a number. So, and this may seem kind of simplistic, but just bear with me for a second. If we have a number n and we are squaring that number, then what we're actually doing is we are finding the area of a square with sides of length n. Now, that might seem pretty easy, but to be honest, I learned that kind of late. So if you're already there, then kudos on you. But so for instance, if we have 3 squared, we'll have a 3 by 3 square. Everyone knows that 3 squared is 9. And you can see here that the area of this 3 by 3 square is 9. Again, this may seem kind of simple, but it'll be really important here in a second. All right? So, what if we have a number that is, let's say, a plus b squared? How would we do that? Now, most of you already know this, or some of you probably already do. The formula for this is a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. Now that seems kind of arbitrary and weird, doesn't it? I mean, the a squared makes sense and the b squared makes sense, but this middle term, this 2ab, seems kind of weird, right? So let's do the same thing as we did with our 3, and let's draw it out. Here's a square, and this square has 2 sides of length AB. So this is a square of a plus b. Does that kind of make sense? I hope so. Let's find the area of this square. This one here is going to be a times a, or a squared. This one is going to be a times b, or ab. This one is going to be a times b again. So here's that AB. And then finally, this square is going to be b times b, or b squared. And if we add all of these up, we get a squared plus 2 ABs. This may look familiar already, plus b squared. And that is why we get this middle weird term here in the middle, this one here. This is going to be really, really important here in a bit. So I hope that either, there's 2 types of math people I found. There's the ones who can really memorize these formulas and they get a lot from that. And there's people who really like to visualize what's going on. And if you're the visualization type person, keep this square in your head, and that might make this a little bit easier. And that's why we kind of went over this. But either way, how does this help us square a 2-digit number in our head? Well, thank you for asking. That's obviously why we're here. What we're going to do is we're going to break up that 2-digit number into 2 other numbers. And here's how we're going to do it. Let's pick a random number. Let's do 23. So our number is 23, all right? In your head, I want you to break the tens place away from the ones place. So our A is going to be 20 and our B is going to be 3. So it's going to look like this. 20 plus 3 squared. All right. Now, we're going to use this formula, or if you prefer, we're going to use this square. So let's go ahead and just go through it. 20 squared is 400. So in your mind, you're thinking 400. All right. 20 times 3 is 60, times 2 is 120. So you have 400 plus 120. In your head, you're thinking 520, all right? Now you're going to do 3 squared, right? Which is 9. And the answer is 529. Seems kind of easy, maybe seems kind of difficult. Maybe after we do a few of them, it'll make a little bit more sense. I hope that that answer is right, by the way. I don't have a calculator on me. I'm pretty confident that that's the right answer. Let's try another one here, all right? Let's do an easier one. Let's do 52. Okay, 52 is our new one. And I'm gonna say that this is 2,704. That's what I'm gonna assume. This is my answer. Let's see if I got it right. I really hope I did, or else I'm gonna look like an idiot here. 50 squared. 50 squared is 2,500. If you're having trouble with that tens one squared, here, let's do this. 50 plus 2, right? Squared. If you're having trouble with this one, then what you want to do is square that first number. So 5 squared is 25. Then you just add 2 zeros. Doesn't matter what it is. 70 squared is 4,900 because 7 squared is 49. And then you just add the 2 zeros. All right. Now we need 2 times 50 times 2. I made this easy because 50 times 2 is 100. So that times 2 is 200. Running out of room here, so we'll just bump it down. 2 squared is 4. 2,500 plus 200 is 2,700 plus 4, 2,704. Someone with a calculator in the comments, please tell me if I am correct. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you guys one to do in your head, and I'm going to give you a little bit of time. I'm going to draw it out for you in the meantime, and we'll see how you did. All right, let's do 16. All right, so do 16 in your head. I'm going to block it. I'm going to write, and then we'll see how you did. All right, if you need more time, please feel free to pause or go back a few and just kind of really understand what's going on. All right, I believe in you. You got this. We got this. All right, ready? All right. Do you have your answer? If not, please take all the time you need, pause it. But what I got was 256. In your head, 10 squared is 100. 100 plus 10 times 6 is 60 times 2 is 120. Add those up in your head. That's 220 plus 6 squared is 36. 220 plus 36 is 256. Now, this seems like it's kind of easy, kind of difficult. If you're getting it absolutely perfect, great job. If you're not, really don't worry about it, because honestly, this is something that's going to take a little bit of practice. And even if you're getting this on your first try, it's going to take some practice. So what I like to do, if I'm sitting there in like a doctor's office or something and there's nothing to do and all of the magazines are from 1978 and boring or something, I don't know, I'll just pick numbers and I'll do math in my head and I'll check them on my phone and see if I'm right. And maybe that makes me a huge nerd, but I'm okay with that, okay? So we know what this is. I'm gonna show you another quick one, all right? Let's get our square back here, okay? Because this might make it a little easier for some other numbers, all right? We are going to do a minus b squared now, okay? We're going to do a minus b. So let's do that, all right? Here's our square. You've got it in your head. Here's a. This is negative b. Here's a. This is negative b. This square is a squared because it's a times a. This one is negative ab because it's a times negative b. This is negative AB. This one is also the same, negative A times B. This one is negative B times negative B. 2 negatives makes a positive, which is B squared. So A minus B squared is, let me make a little bit of room here, A squared minus 2AB plus b squared. This is going to be a lot more useful when we do quadratics in the later episodes, but just keep this in mind, all right? Now, why is this useful? Well, let's say you have something like you want to do, I don't know, 99 squared in your head, all right? If we're doing 99 squared, it's probably easier to do 100 minus 1 squared. All right, let's try it out. 100 minus 1. 100 squared is 1 with 4 zeros after it. Because we have 2 zeros, you're squaring them, so you have 4. So we have 10,000, all right, minus 2 times negative 1 times 100. So that's minus 200. Yes, makes sense. All right, plus negative 1 squared is 1. So we get 9,801. Yes, 9,801. How do we do? You at home with the calculators, how did we do? Is it 9,801? I sure hope it is. But either way, this may be more useful. You can also do it this way and do 99 plus 9 if you prefer. Does this work with 3-digit numbers? It sure does. Let's try one out, all right? Let's do 111. 111 squared, all right? Let's do it. Now, it doesn't matter what you pick for A and B as long as they add up to whatever your number is. So I'm gonna pick, let's do 100 plus 11, all right? And I purposely picked kind of an easier one. When you get into 3-digit numbers, it gets a lot harder. There's a lot more for you to do in your head, but either way, let's do this. 100 squared is, again, 10,000. I'm gonna just designate it there a little bit easier, all right? 100 times 11 is 1,100 times 2 is 2,200. 11 squared is 121. Add them all up, you should get 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3, 2, 1. Yes. And I know for a fact that 111 squared is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 because it has a cool property where it just follows this pattern. It's really cool. Maybe we'll talk about that in a future video. But either way, that is how you can square any 2-digit number, maybe a 3-digit one if you're lucky, in your head quite easily. And actually, once you get this pattern down, it's really not that hard. You know, you just got to remember this, or if you're a more visual math person, remember our friend, the square. Now, before I end this, I just wanted to say one last thing, one last piece of information, because I know somebody is saying it in the comments. Why don't you FOIL to get this? Why did you draw the square? Great question. Let's take a look. So if you don't know what foiling is, it's an acronym. It stands for first, outside, inside, last. Here's how it works. If we're doing A plus B squared, that's the same as doing A plus B times A plus B. All right? So first, here's your F for FOIL. F, that is A squared, okay? Outside, that's A to B. There's your O for outside, plus A times B. Inside is this B to this A, because it's the 2 on the inside. So we have plus AB. I didn't think ahead, I ran out of space. Either way, last would be this last one to that one, which is B squared. So that is how foiling works. If you notice anything about this, you will see that it is exactly what we did on our square. It's just kind of written a different way. And this makes more sense when you get into like A plus B plus C squared or that kind of stuff where you're doing more terms. But either way, that is how you do squares in your head. Maybe you can use this to, I don't know, impress your friends or find a girlfriend or a boyfriend or both. I don't know. I'm not your mother, whatever you want to do.